we're not trying to make India's Game of Thrones. I think we're just trying to make the empire.
I've never been offered such a sumptuous, delicious role ever.
When you're doing television, your show keeps going on for so long that there are always new people entering, scripts are changing.
Hey guys, my name is Shravan Shah and today I'm going to have a conversation with the brilliant cast of The Empire. We have Kunal Kapoor, we have Dino Moreo and we have Drashti Dhami with us. What's up guys?
What's up people?
I love the trailer of The Empire and I was discussing with Kunal before you guys came in that after a very long time you get to witness a show that's mounted on such a big scale. And I think I've had a conversation with almost all of y'all individually before this, that how I'm looking forward to a show like this. Okay, I'm going to ask you, Kunal, this: that were you anticipating this kind of response to come your way after the trailer launch, or while you were working on the show? To be honest.
Well, yeah, honestly, when we were working on the show, this is the biggest show I've been part of. I've never been part of a show where the sets are so huge and the costumes are so wonderful, and the action is way larger than life. The vision more than anything else is really, really ambitious. So when we were shooting it, we knew we were onto a good thing because, you see stuff when you're shooting. Yeah. And the trailer, of course, I had seen the trailer before. We had all seen the trailer before and we had all liked the trailer a lot. But the response has been phenomenal. I mean, I think it's been, we expected a lot, but I think it's beyond that expectation as well. And it's been really, really good.
Whenever there is a period drama that's made, okay, Sanjay Leela Bhansali is always a reference, right? Because he's made sure that in the past he makes these magnum opuses that people always remember. And after the Empire's trailer has released, the entire tonality, it's almost like Sanjay Leela Bhansali has directed this one too. Has that been another response that you guys have almost reached the benchmark that Sanjay Leela Bhansali has created?
Yeah, of course, a lot of people have been telling us that it looks like a Sanjay Leela Bhansali film. And of course, it is a compliment when someone says that. And we do have someone from a Sanjay Leela Bhansali team who has actually directed us. So, yes, it is looking really, really nice. And yeah, I mean, of course, it's a compliment when we look like Game of Thrones and Sanjay Leela Bhansali. What else do you want?
Yes, that's
and
another
when you
thing.
have a cast like Kunal, Dino and Drashti, what else do you want?
Exactly. But that was actually another thing I was going to come to. It's also touted as India's Game of Thrones.
Oh, now, please, yaar.
I'm very serious. No, I'm very serious, Kunal, and I'm not saying it for the heck of it. It's actually called as the India's Game of Thrones. People, whoever has watched the trailer is calling it the India's Game of Thrones. Now, of course, that's a compliment, but is that also a pressure that comes? You want to go for it?
No, I don't think it's a compliment. I mean, it's, of course, Game of Thrones is very cool and all that, but I think we're not trying to make India's Game of Thrones. I think we're just trying to make the empire. It's a very different story. It's a very different world. And whenever you create something which, is a sort of period drama, there will be common things between other, there'll be a comparison to Mr. Bhansali, there will be a comparison to Game of Thrones, which, like Drashti said, is probably a compliment because they're great shows, but, we're not pitching ourselves as the Indian Game of Thrones at all. I think this is a completely different story, a different world and different characters. And any sort of commonality, I think, is just coincidental and, not intentional.
Yeah. Dino, what do you think about this?
Well, I second what he says. Everyone's going to draw comparisons because of the scale it's made at, because of the look it has, because it's period. But we're telling another story. We're telling a story on the Empire. I honestly, for me, when you compare anything to something that's of a high standard, I think it is a compliment, no doubt. Yeah. But like Kunal said, we're not trying to draw comparisons. We ourselves, we are trying to up the bar over here, purely in India. We're trying to take Indian stories or stories in and around India to the world. We want to show them, we've got a world platform. We want audiences from all over the world to see these stories, to see us. We actors are also capable of telling these fantastic stories. We directors are capable of telling these really magnificent stories. So people will draw comparisons, no doubt about that. As long as it's to the best, no problem. There is a pressure, There is a nervousness because the benchmark is so high right now.
Yeah.
But the excitement is absolutely overwhelming, and I love that part.
Yeah. Perfect. Drashti, I want to ask you this. That world before 2019 was very different. Okay, there was this separation that already existed where there was television, where there was film, and then there was OTT, and three industries were doing their own thing. But after the pandemic, the world completely changed, where the boundaries have blurred, the industries have blurred, and today every actor has become a pan-India actor because you can act in a film, you can act in a television show, and you can do OTT and still do so great at it. Okay, do you think it's a great time to be an artist today?
I think it's a great time to be an artist at any given point, not just today. It's just that, yes, we have a lot of platforms where we can get to do many different things. Having said that, it's not always necessary that because you have more platforms, there's more work for everyone. I don't know. I don't think that's actually true. I just feel like it's 80% destiny to where you're going to reach. And of course, these more platforms are just going to help you to showcase you as in a lot of different characters. But yes, I think destiny plays a very big role, be it pre-pandemic or post-pandemic.
Okay. You know, from what she said, okay, has this ever happened to you that, you know, there was a character-driven role that you were so drawn to that you wanted to play it, but probably the destiny didn't play the part that it should have played? Has this ever happened to you?
I've never been offered such a sumptuous, delicious role ever. And when this came to me, I knew I had to grab this, and I had to sink my teeth into this character because this is a role of a lifetime. And also it gives me the opportunity to go out and prove myself as an actor. And you know, it's challenging for me, and I love challenges. So I've never been offered something like this. I don't think anyone. I mean, I'm so grateful to Nikhil and Mitaksha for actually seeing me as this person. This is the kind of anti-casting where you cast me as an antagonist. So they had this vision, they had this idea, this concept of me, and they knew somewhere that it could work. And I fortunately had the opportunity, and I think I've done justice to Shehbani Khan. And like I said, great opportunity for me to come and be versatile and prove myself.
Kunal, coming to you, okay, you've already had a release, you know, this year in the theaters, but then the theaters have to shut down because the second wave hit us. Okay,
yeah.
This is another release that you have, and it's like I said, larger than life. It's mounted on a large scale. Okay, today when you sit back and look at the character that you've essayed in The Empire, okay, are you content and happy that, hey, I have got, like, you know, Dino said, I have got to essay the role of a lifetime that probably actors out there would kill to get?
No, actually, I'm never content and happy. So it's not only about this role. I think with any role, I in fact messaged my director to say I finally cracked the accent of the character. If I had to do it again, I would do it like this. So I don't think I am ever happy with what I've done, and I'm never satisfied. Yeah. And that's sometimes a good thing, and then sometimes a bad thing. It's a good thing because it sort of drives you harder to work harder the next time around. It's a bad thing because you know you don't end up with a sense of satisfaction, and you know you look at yourself and you're like, I could have done this, I could have done that. So no, really, I never reach a place where I'm completely satisfied with what I've done. Maybe sometime in the future it'll happen, but it's not happened up until now.
Nice. Okay, this question is going to be for all three of you, and I'm going to begin with Drashti here. That, you know, when you play a role in a historic drama, there is certain kind of responsibility that you have, right? It's not a fictional character. This person existed back in history. Okay, how much of study does one do, and how much of you put yourself in the character and be like, hey, this is where Drashti leaves and this is where the character kicks in? Does that ever happen, or it's a very smooth process of switch on, switch off?
It actually has been a very smooth process for me when it comes to on and off. Initially, yes, I had a little problem getting into the character and getting out because I've not played something so intense, so serious till now. So I just didn't know how to talk or when to take the pause or how to react. But I think gradually everyone on set was like really into, like every time I shot with Kunal, I would feel like I want to go back on set getting that intense for every scene, you know. So I kept learning from both of them. And by the end of it, I did get Khanzada how I wanted, how I don't know how I visualized it. I hope it turns out to what I've thought it should have been. But yeah, it was very smooth. I never read about Khanzada. My diction teacher read and she just read it out to me. So I don't read a lot. I'm now trying to read. I've started with kids' books right now, as of now, as we speak, because I think I need to get into reading. So yeah, I mean, I got to know from people on set what they were saying, but I never read about it. I just read my lines really well.
You know, what about you? When, you know, like I asked her, that, you know, when you have to essay a character, that's not a fictional character, right? This person existed in the history. Okay. Yeah. Are you also switch on actor, or do you actually sink your teeth into the skin of the character and then it takes time for the character to move?
So, because this is something new. This character is very different. I mean, to play an antagonist, there's no limitations as to what you can do. There's no reference, to be honest, because what they did 500 years ago, nobody knew. How they acted, nobody knew. How they looked, nobody knew. Right? So, like I said, no limitations. You could bring in your own madness to an antagonist. And I wanted him to be, I mean, he is savage, he's brutal, cunning, smart. So he has all these great elements in him. My director and me, I mean, I try to approach most of my actors that this is new learning. I mean, the past couple of years where I try to associate with an animal. We associated Shehbani Khan with the Black Panther. And I studied I actually watched a lot of YouTube videos on the Black Panther and just observed just their movements, the way they are, their prowl. That really helps in your gait, in your walk, in your talk, in your cunningness, a little growl in the voice, you know. So I am a switch off, switch on actor. I do sink my teeth into the character, let me be clear. But there are certain habits you imbibe while you shoot that continue to stay with you because they're really interesting and they're nice. Just your uprightness and the way you are. But when you move on to your next movie, you're an actor after all. You got to switch on, you got to switch off. You put on the mask, you take off the mask. I try not to let it stay with me. I go home as Dino Moreo, because if I went home as the Black Panther or somebody else, I'd probably be kicked out. But you know, or Shehbani Khan. So I switch on and switch off at the right time, and I think that works better for me. Every actor has their own process. For me, this works really well. As long as I am convincing my director and to the audiences that this could be Shehbani Khan, then I'm happy.
Kunal, has this ever happened to you that you've played a character that actually took time to leave?
No, not at all. As soon as it's done, I'm done with it. The next day, I've already moved on. You know, a lot of people say that, you know, when I do a intense scene, then, you know, it stays with me. And I feel that for the next couple of days. I feel relieved when the scene is over. So I don't know how it stays with you. You know, if I've done the scene where I have to break down, and once the scene is done, I'm like, oh, wow, this is done and it went well. So there's no chance of it staying with me. It's never happened, really. I mean, it's not like I take some character home or it's, you know, once it's done, it's done. It's over and done with. As far as, I mean, responsibility, like you were talking about, is, you know, I don't think there was any great responsibility because even though this is a historical thing, it's still a piece of fiction.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because it's based on a book by Alex Rutherford, and that is a fictional account of what happened. So it wasn't like I had to, you know, behave or think like some character outside the book, because the book had such a detailed account of who Babar, the character, was in the book. And I think that account of what is in the book is probably very different from history, you know, who the character was in history. So for me, it was very important to just go with the source material and be honest with the source material. And fortunately for us, I think all of us as actors, the book was great, but sometimes what happens is someone adapts a book and makes a script out of it, and the script doesn't match up to the source material.
Yeah.
But here I felt like the source material had been enhanced, and there were so many details to each character, and they were written so well that you didn't really have to look outside the script and do some great amount of research on a real life character. I think the characters in the script are beautifully written.
So what you said right now, as actors, this generally happens, right? When you guys get a script, that a script is, of course, you've read the script, you've liked the script, but when you move on to shoot something, you realize that, hey, this is not matching to what the script was. Okay. And I'm sure while you're shooting something, you realize that, hey, this is not going to shape out the way we thought this would shape out. At that given point, what does an actor do?
Yeah, I've had many experiences where the narrations have been wonderful, the ideas thrown at you have been outstanding, and action has been presented so well, the story is being told so well, and you're going to these really fancy places to shoot, and you're getting the right technicians to shoot. And ultimately, when it comes down to shooting, there are lots of things missing. And sometimes what's on the written page is also missing. And there are new things being added and new characters suddenly being thrown in. I've been in this mix before, and it's pretty unnerving for you as an actor, because you're trying to prepare for what you envision and what you've been sort of told. And then suddenly there's something new cropping up, and it throws you off. And it's sad, because you said yes to something else, and there's part 2 being made, which is totally not what you anticipated. I've been in many of those projects. This one has actually surpassed what I envisioned. I came in, to be honest, with a blank slate. I just knew this character was beautiful. But then when I saw the process at the beginning of clothes, sets, the vision, it really surpassed what I thought. And I think it's become larger than what I actually thought. So this was a beautiful surprise for me.
People think that, the actors are a very powerful piece of the puzzle. And I think, when you're right at the top, you probably are. But otherwise, I think actors are the most helpless piece of the puzzle, because somebody writes the script for you. Somebody is going to now direct this. Someone else is going to edit it, light it. Someone might give great music, and you might have a hit movie because of the music, but you might not get great music. Then somebody else is going to release this. So there's very little that is actually in the hands of an actor. The only thing that you have in your hands is the choices that you make. And the choices that you make is dependent on where you are in your career. So if you're very successful, then you have great many choices to make. If you're not, then the choices are very limited. So I feel like actors are a very helpless piece of the puzzle, and often you find yourselves in a place where you just have to go with something that is not turning out the way you thought it would, but you just have to go with it, because that's the only choice that you have at that point in time. So yeah.
I would like to add, actually, I think I have faced this all the time, because when you're doing television, your show keeps going on for so long that there are always new people entering, scripts are changing, your dialogues are changing every 5 minutes. So if that way, then I'm so used to it that this was something which was like way too disciplined when I did this. Like over there, it's like you are leaving, you're going out of town, 3 o'clock in the night, they'll give you 10 pages and they're like, finish this, because if you don't finish this, you cannot leave. So that's how and suddenly it's like, oh, ye actor nahi, arey, iska scene nikalo, dusre ko dalo. Everything
is happening on the spot.
Exactly, everything is happening. Arey, this one's not well. Oh, dengue ho gaya, 15 din, new characters come in. Oh, romance with this guy now, not with this guy. So that happens so often that it doesn't bother me anymore.
Makes sense. No, but I am glad that all 3 of you all are a part of this amazing magnum opus, because, like I said, I love the trailer and I can't wait to watch it. So, all the very best to you all 3 of you all. You guys have done a fab job. Waiting to watch this, and I'm sure I'm going to talk to all 3 of you all separately about this. Yeah. So, already congratulating you guys about it. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care. So that was all for today, folks. Hope you have liked the video. Do not forget to comment and share the video with your friends. Also subscribe to Miss Malini, and we're going to be back with yet another video super soon. Till then, take care.